1, 2, 3. That's working. Here we go, here we go, here we go. Cool, they're all coming in now like, oh, what? Ask to start video. Ask to start video. No one wants to see me. Oh, that's one. Carol.
Right, am I here?
Yeah.
Done
Yeah.
it.
Well done.
Yeah.
And I can hear you too.
Yeah, you sound really clear today. Oh.
Wow.
Oh, am I the first one here?
No, Gordon and Anne's here, but
oh right, I'll put my little thing on.
Gordon's setting Anne up.
Oh right, okay.
Because he's busy getting his stuff ready for their they go off on a journey.
Oh right. Oh,
this
so
time of year.
This will be the last week then, will it?
Well, beauty of being online, you can get it anywhere.
Well, yeah, as long as you can get a connection, isn't it? It'll be okay.
Yeah. Well, you can always look at it. As long as you can get a mobile phone, you can do it.
Yeah. Oh well, they'll be busy painting on holiday then.
Yeah,
so they go up. Yeah, they go up. Crack a whip. Yeah.
Hello, Pauline.
Is that why I can hear somebody else coming in?
That's Anne and Gordon yapping in the background.
Oh, in the background.
It's going wrong at the moment.
It's all going wrong at the moment.
Oh dear. They can hear us, but we can't hear them.
This meeting is being recorded. Continue.
Oh dear.
Start my video. No.
Oh, here you are.
Back, nice. What?
Morning.
Hello.
Hello. Oh, we can't hear you very well.
Oh, that's all right. Yeah,
Well,
I've turned the squeaky chair off and shut the golf shut. You can't hear me, can you?
Well, only faintly.
You're not particularly loud, no. If you go to audio, bottom left-hand corner, where it says mute, hit the little arrow and audio settings and see if you can make sure your microphone is up louder.
Select the microphone, right. Same as system, right. Doesn't give me a choice of doing anything with it. Audio settings, hang on. Flat out, everything's full up.
Then you're doomed. Oh, well, it's okay.
We have a technology, hang on.
Well, I don't. I try not to touch anything from week to week. Once it's sort of working, it's a good idea to leave it alone.
That's it. Oh, you're very clear today.
Hello, is that better?
Yeah, a little bit.
Yes.
I think.
Only a little bit. That's a posh microphone.
Yes, posh microphone, this one.
Yeah, that's fine.
No, yeah, that's fine. We can hear you.
I'm just.
That's all right.
I'm just trying to
say anyway.
No, I've got nothing to say. Sorry.
Oh.
After all that.
So when are you off on your travels then, Anne? On your holiday?
We're going on Thursday.
Oh, lovely. Where are you going?
We're only going to Chiddock.
Right.
And then we come back, and then we have a day home, and then we're going up to Ross-on-Wye, and then we're going to spend time in Swanage, Wareham, and East Stoke.
Oh,
so
right.
We're away for 3 or 4 weeks, but we're only in local area.
Oh, that'll be nice. Let's hope
Yeah.
the weather bucks up for
I
you.
hope so. Yeah, yeah. I don't like it too hot anyway. So
No, but you don't want the rain though, do you?
no, no, no. I was just talking to a friend on the phone. That's what I was up to just now.
All
And
right.
they're doing a site over in the New Forest, and it's
Mm.
flooded. So
Oh gosh.
they're having to tow motorhomes in at the moment.
Tow them out, don't tow them in.
They're towing them.
God.
Oh gosh.
They're on the New Forest showground up there.
Oh
Over
right.
Yeah, so it's pretty
Not
wet.
not much fun, is it?
No, no, it's not so
I
much.
don't even know where Chiswick is.
No,
Chiddick,
I don't.
Chiddick, Charmouth, Dorset,
Oh right.
Bridport way, Bridport.
Oh,
Oh,
all
it's
right.
nice down that way,
Yeah,
isn't it?
yeah, yeah, the Jurassic Coast.
South of Bridgewater.
So I hope you're going to be walking that then, are you?
I wish. I just wish. Our friend will. We're going with a
Oh,
friend who loves walking.
oh, that's good.
Yes.
So you won't be doing your little art classes this year, will you? Where you go somewhere, you go, don't you?
No, that's October.
Oh, is that? Oh, right.
Yeah.
Okay.
They've just set up a little group to talk to each other. It's just going mad at the moment because everybody's just putting little messages on, and it's every 2
Oh.
minutes we're getting a message.
Oh gosh.
Not sure these groups kind of work really
No.
because one person.
Oh, oh, that's better.
Oh, we got Joyce now.
Yeah, she was upside down for a minute,
Oh.
Joyce.
Thought it looked like your hair was going to fall off them.
Oh, bless.
Oh dear.
You were defying gravity for a minute. I
Oh
was
my
out.
goodness.
I was out.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
I was out slug hunting last night.
Oh gosh.
It was like something out of an alien planet. It was really
Horrible.
awful.
Horrible things.
Oh.
They're disgusting.
Oh,
I want
know.
to know how they get up on my first floor balcony in my pots.
They do. They just slime up the wall, don't they?
Oh.
I was watching them, especially if
Horrible.
is it a white wall?
Well, I've got another balcony underneath. We've got like, oh, well, yeah, but yeah, there is a white wall, but there is another balcony underneath me as well.
They love white. There's something about white walls.
Oh
But-
yeah.
I was out there
Yeah.
I was out there last night, and the shed, the face of the shed is painted British Racing green or whatever it is, shed green. But one side, I had this bright idea. If I paint the one wall that sort of faces out into the garden white, it might reflect some light and brighten up the garden. Daft move. But anyway, it's still white.
All the slugs are using it.
And I was out there last night. Oh, I don't know what time, 11:30, 12 o'clock. And they were having it was like a slug derby. There was dozens of them going up this up the white wall of the shed. And I was looking at the top, and there was a false widow spider, because I had the torchlight. He came out of the eaves of the shed, had a look round and sort of, oh, there's a meal. There's a big slug, wasn't it? Just by his little patch. And I watched him. He went on, climbed on board, and sort of went, ooh, and then went off. So I went out. I couldn't get them because, well, they were okay really, because they're going up the shed. I don't know where the hell I think they're going, but all around my the ones I'm worried about are my cauliflower plants.
Yeah.
Because they just, I was going to say they make a beeline for them, but it's a slug line. Well, snails are the ones. I must have zapped 20, 30 last night.
Oh gosh.
It was incredible. As I say, it was like something out of an alien movie, sci-fi movie. I went out at 10:30 and I zapped a load. And I thought, right, I'll give it an hour and wait until the second wave come. And I went out again with my coat and plastic gloves on, And there was another load.
Oh gosh. Oh.
Oh, well, as soon as it gets damp, you've got to go out and have a look.
You'll be there forever.
We've tried everything. We haven't found anything yet that works.
Like I say, the best thing is to go out there with a torch and pull them off and stamp on them.
Oh.
Oh,
gosh.
no.
Oh, no.
Oh no.
There's no point in jumping, throwing them away. They just come back. They can move.
They home as well. Snails home, don't they? They come back home. They
Do
say there's
they?
no point in throwing them in your neighbour's garden because they'll come back.
Oh
They're
really?
actually homing.
Oh gosh.
So
Know that.
all those years we spent lobbing them over the neighbours is a waste of time.
Yeah. I think what I might try is oh, Chris is coming. I might put a little bit of acrylic paint on the shells and see what happens. Throw them on the over the board and
See if they come back.
yeah, put Dave on them or something.
Alan Titchmarsh was on about it last year.
There's only one way to get them. Make sure there's plenty of them. I wouldn't get too despondent about zapping a few. There's that Chris.
There she is. Morning.
Morning all.
Morning.
Just a quick visit today. Hiya. Hello. How's everyone?
Come and say
Fine.
a hello goodbye visit. She's got a funeral.
Oh gosh.
Yeah. Yeah, I must disappear in about 11:15. Go and get ready. Get changed.
Where is it? At the pool of
At pool.
Bournemouth? Yeah.
Pool. Yeah, but I'm taking I've done the flowers. I'm taking those over, and the car's leaving obviously from Hamworthy. But it's a bit of a pain because half of Blanford Road is closed off both directions. They're doing a lot of electrical work. So
You've got to leave really early. It's really busy over there.
yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah.
Well, the funeral, the hearse is coming at 1:15. So I'm going to leave here about 12, hopefully. So that will give me time. Yes.
Clint Eastwood was a bit of a challenge, I reckon.
Oh.
Yes.
I think everybody had sort of
Yeah.
well, I'm not going to put it up as Clint Eastwood. If I put it on the gallery, it's just going to be a rhinestone cowboy because
Oh God.
we could just I'll just title it American Cowboy because I mean I can't see Clint Eastwood in mine, let alone your lot.
Oh dear.
Every time I look at mine, I think, oh, I don't know about this.
Did everybody?
I've got the Biden.
That was Anne's. The sort of dog holiday, that one.
Well, that's good.
Oh, it's very good. Yeah, you're
I'm
independent.
not disputing. They're all. I mean, Carol was saying you're just saying that. They're all good
Oh, mine
pictures.
was terrible. I kept laughing. I thought, well, I don't know who this person is.
No, they're all excellent. What I was saying was they're
a cowboy.
yeah. I'm struggling to picture Clint on most of them, but it doesn't matter. Like I said to Carol yesterday, it's about the process. I mean, the more you do, the better you'll get. But at the moment, okay, we're at the lower end of the ladder, if you like, but we're achieving lovely images, lovely.
We
I
can
mean,
only get better, we hope.
Yeah, the technical bit of it is spot on.
Oh God, I don't know who
Who
that
was that? Was that yours?
Yeah, it's mine. It's awful. I got the face all wrong. Oh God. I just gave up in the end.
One thing you do notice doing these things is how the features, certain people's features, they're wonky or what, you know. Clint Eastwood ain't got good teeth.
No, no, he hasn't. No.
I've looked at mine. I'll show you later. But I looked at mine the other day, and I thought, cool. I can see why people don't do blooming teeth.
Yeah, they're dreadful.
Christine, that's Well, I don't know what to say about that. It's
Like
like a
that.
He's
It's
a
like
handsome
a,
cowboy.
it's like a pin-up pop star.
yeah, he looks like a country and western singer, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Was it wasn't my pin up? I used to have him on my bedroom wall when he was in Rawhide.
Oh,
Oh.
As it is sort of yee-hi. She sent it to me over the social media web thingy and put something like Rowdy Yates or something. Oh,
Yeah, that was his name.
yeah, in the thing. Works though.
mm,
Good colour balance.
Mm. Yeah.
mm.
Got the hat sort of. I
Yeah, the
mean,
hat.
come on.
Mhm.
I can't say this often enough. These things, we're doing these things in hours, you know, an hour and a half, couple of hours, and maybe
Yeah,
patching about with it over the course of the week or whatever. So I mean, come on, compare like with like. If we spent, if we were to spend 3 months to a year like Michelangelo did, and those people did painting their
Mm.
pictures,
Yeah.
then I'd
Mm.
expect it to be a bit better. No, don't go
good
there.
one.
Wow.
That's a good one, Dave. I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was what I didn't like to say. That's the one I did earlier.
That's what Peter said. He said, send the picture up and say you've done that.
So where's yours then, Dave?
I haven't taken a shot of it yet. I'll show you before we kick off. I'm still fraffing about with Cassius Clay and God knows what else. Yeah. The one for today. Did you see those pictures for today?
Yeah, I thought, God, this is hard as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah, me too.
What a nice, easy one. Give our brains a rest.
I keep saying that, but it never works out, does it?
No.
We haven't done a still life for a long time.
No, I've got one in mind. I've got a couple of those floating around.
Oh, good.
One involves an egg and a mug, I think. Can't remember now.
Okay.
That it looked quite nice. I'm still in
Tape
thought
measure.
about the tape measure. I'm not 100% sure about that at the moment, but I have got quite a few. I've next week's one is the portrait of the Mall Gallery lady. I'm looking forward to that because there's no pressure. It's not meant to be anyone apart from some bloke's wife. So that I think we'll have fun with that. And after that, I've headed off to Audrey Hepburn.
All right.
But the picture I'll just talk about it brief. The picture, what I've done there, I've been doing it quite a lot lately. You might have noticed, sort of 2 or 3 different images. One is the picture that I think we should sketch, and the other 2 are just references for color balance and what color her eyes, her hair, and all the rest of it. The one I went for Audrey Hepburn was one of her holding her son. It was just a black and white picture of her holding her son. Well, I wasn't worried about her, so I'm not fussed about that. What I did, my reason I went for that was not many people would have painted that picture, if any, and more importantly, C or D or whatever, how many units you want. There's nothing more fantastic in a person's face, whether it's mum, granddad, dad, or whatever, than the look on their face when they're holding their little baby. So I thought to capture that, if we could, that sort of thing. Anyway, I digress. Yeah, this one today, there's a couple of different images of it. That's the grid, isn't it? That's the one that I originally was going to. Well, I've got this image to do, but when I took auto balance the colors, it came back to that. So when they posted the image on Facebook where I nicked it, they obviously adjusted the colors, because if you take all the stuff off, you get back to that, which the only reason I went and did that was because I couldn't see off the stuff. I think there must be more in that boat than that. And that was all. But I quite like this one, actually. So again, I think it takes pressure off because you can see more details in that. But you can capture the mood of that. So there's no right and wrong on this one. I quite like this has got a bit of blue in it, isn't it? Which is nice. So be warned, anything can happen. Probably will know. I did a sketch using the grid. Obviously my perspective would be slightly different because of the size of the paper and the grid and that, but yeah, we'll have a bit of fun with it. Should be a laugh. I haven't, like I said the other day, I haven't got a plan. I noticed, but sometimes I just think that's the best way to do it. I just can't get that past my psyche that having no plan makes it what's not harder, it makes it more, I don't know, puts a bit of pressure on you, makes you think on your feet. If you were there doing it live in sort of plain air, you wouldn't be able to sit there planning it, would you? As such, you do a rough sketch and think, yeah, right, and just go for that. You asked about Clint, didn't you? But like I said the other day, doesn't matter what happens, they always turn out as sort of an old man. At the moment, I've put more information here, more darker, but that's only temporary. Well, temporary as such.
He's very wrinkled because he was very wrinkled when he was young, wasn't he?
Yeah. So I've taken them. I've sort of gone over them, but at some point, I'll use my damp brush and start bringing things back, and just bit of makeup artist on him, and I'll use some white or the brush. If I just lighten, I can do it with the brush just by bringing the back, just lighten it off. So it was just an experiment, really. And I've repainted his eyes about 4 times because I wasn't too keen on them, and I think even now I could lighten them up a bit. So for that, I was thinking about, I can use where's it to? I've got a nice clean water on a damp brush, and I can just zoom it round like so, and that just it doesn't do much, but it's just enough to take the edge off. Even the rigger will do it. So that's, but like you say, it's a never-ending blooming process. I haven't touched his hair. I've redone the background a bit. I probably still need to do a bit more on that. Yeah, he's getting there. I actually, I got bogged down yesterday. I went back to that, and I was playing with this. So putting flesh on the bones. Quite like that one. But anyway, this one, caution to the wind. I always say that. I think the first part of it, can you see it roughly? Not too bad. I can zoom in a bit.
That's better.
Yeah. We'll see how it goes. The my plan that my thoughts initially, I don't know why I'm stuck using these evergreen brushes that are oil brushes. I'm using them all the time. They have a consistency that's quite nice. Anyway, have we got a plan? Get the mop on it. In a way, I said on my thing I spent I don't know 10, 15, maybe 20 minutes. Nah, it wasn't 20 minutes. In a few minutes anyway. I did the initial sketch using the grid. Very lightly put a grid on, and then sat in front of the computer screen with a pencil for a few minutes. I think what I'll do is I'll make that a bit damp there and a little bit there. What's he doing? Yeah, well, my thoughts are, and a little bit damp there. At some point, let's pop that out. My thoughts are to, I don't want to lose it. Just gonna pop it there for a second. Is to mix up some yellow. I've got this is don't know what colour it is just a sec. It's Naples yellow, which we like, don't we? So I'm just going to whack some Naples yellow on and then dry it. There's a little bit of Naples orange, a little bit of orange. Might need to spray the paper, but the reason I made this damp is because I wanted to, because it shines on the boat, doesn't it? There's that sort of, so I thought, right, oops, there's quite a lot of it. This could be a bit of fun. How much? It goes. I had a plan for this, for the sun. What I could do. Hello, come on in. Wherever you are. You might want to add a little bit of reddy warmth to it. It seems darker at the bottom, isn't it? Paint what you see. One thing there is a sort of a shaft of light, isn't there? So I thought I'd just, I don't know if I'm going to get away with this. I'll put a line there just to tell me that there's something there. I don't know whether I'll get away with that, goodness knows. Now, if I can find a little bit of my favourite red, which isn't red, it's rose, isn't it? I use that all the time. And just sort of perhaps introduce a little bit of that. Careful. I can see what's going to happen. It does. If I put it at the top of the yellowy bit. Oh, I've nearly finished this painting. It's nearly done. Add a bit at the top as well. Because it'll act as a little barrier for the red, for the yellow. Just across there for now. Then it'll save me having to dry the picture off if I get some blue involved. Any particular blue? Let's have a look. What have I got? I'm just looking at this cobalt blue and that bright blue, which is pretty strong if I remember rightly. Just add a bit of that in. Bit of cobalt maybe. Just no, cobalt's a bit well, I was going to say grey, but it tends, to me it looks a bit dirty. You watch. If I put, here's some cobalt blue. Just stone. It's got contaminated. I just put a bit. See what I mean? It seems a bit. Maybe I'll get away with it because I'm really damp at the moment. These mops are great, aren't they, for this sort of stuff? I'm just very lightly. But you see what I mean? It's gone. It changes the mood straight away. The cerulean blue or the very light blue doesn't do that. It stays fresher. I think the word is. I'm not gonna get too. Any of these bits that you're not happy with, the rum things, we can just lift them off with our brush. If you get some nice little run backs, whatever they're called. Maybe a bit. The problem is, it's not a problem. It's something you need to bear in mind. Is it watercolor? It does fade back, doesn't it? But the cerulean blue, I'm calling this cerulean blue. It's the same thing. It's just St. Petersburg call it something else. And just this is personal preference now. So try and look for some. But the rose is quite handy because it's more subtle than alizarin crimson as well. Something going on over here that doesn't look too effective. Paper's starting to. There you go. Not too bad. I think this is a bit overpowering here. A bit off. It's dried in while I've been talking. Might be a bit strong, but I'm not. I have no fear of it being too strong anymore because since I just put some white on it. Don't mess with me. I haven't heard from Terry at all. I didn't send him a link or anything. I don't know. I didn't. Do you know, sometimes I think I'm interrupting what he really wants to do. So I sort of don't do it. Do nothing.
No, I haven't heard this week. He phoned me up last week, but
yeah,
it's all right.
Sort of. It's a Walter Mitty character. It's all right. Sort of. Well, I'm just one of those people that I've got it in my head that if I don't want to interrupt what other people are doing, sort of thing.
Yeah.
I'm still thinking about starting back at the church and how it's all going to pan out with the way the government are changing all the things. It's sort of relying on people to common sense, and I'm thinking, well, if you're talking to the people that go to Sainsbury's and don't even wash their hands when they come out of the toilet, you know, how many times do you do that? You go to Asda or, you know, you see someone come out of you're in the loo and they're just coming out of the cubicle and they walk straight out. You think these are the people that you're asking, that you're talking about? Oh God! And then there's 100,000 cases a day.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, wow, that isn't very nice. That's a guarantee you're going to catch it, isn't it?
Yeah.
And
It's all
fingers
the people
crossed.
that haven't had the jabs, though, isn't it? He's trying to get them to get the jabs.
Well, I heard my friend, one of my Astro buddies this morning, put a thing on his Twitter feed saying he was watching Good Morning Britain or something, and they were just sort of debating it on there. and Richard Madeley, who's a bit of a prat, but he was responding to what he was saying and saying, you know, over, I think it was a few recently, like this past few days, week, there's friends of his, 3 families, which involved 9 people, met up, you know, had a little, like you do, get together. One of them was infected and passed that on to 7 of the other 9. Of the 9 are now infected, and their ages were sort of 18 to 70. 7 of them had double jabs, but all 7 are quite ill, not expected to go to hospital. So that's you know,
Still get it, can't you?
yeah. And this new one is so transmissible. It's
What about all the people that are going to Wimbledon?
yeah, I noticed that.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, they don't seem
It's
to have
football and everything.
Hmm.
I think
It's all the
it's
youngsters who haven't had the jabs.
yeah, it's all going a bit. I think, you know, I'll err on the side of caution, me, but
yeah, I'm hanging on to my mask for a bit longer.
I've got a couple now. What we've got to think about on this is the dreaded background, isn't it? What I'm going to do is I'm going to mix up some raw sienna, not raw, burnt sienna, sorry, and a little bit of, see if that blue will do it, the same blue, which will give me, cerulean blue will give me that sort of, see it, that sort of greyish tone. So I'm all sad now talking about COVID. Well, it's such a worry, isn't it? It's still a bit damp, but hey ho. Let's see if I can remember where I put the trees. So I'm going to make it damper still and just go widdly wobbly widdly wash and grab some of that and dab it in. Maybe it's almost that colour. Might need to add a little bit of extra blue. He says, dipping his paint in his brush in the yellow. Do that all the time. Every time and get that, I don't know. Just going to dab it over and see what happens. I'm in a, yeah, that'd be okay. It might be a neat idea to turn it upside down, just to fizzle. Because it's so wet, the paper's really damp. I don't really want to dry it off yet. I'll make up my own trees in the background, or distant, misty sort of stuff, isn't it? Nice colour that. Blow the picture. We've got a nice colour. That's all that matters. Yeah. Hopefully it'll squish down. You can always get the fan brush. I'm a big fan of the fan brush, and let that drop a few bits in. Give it a, because if you do that, you'll get sort of wibbly dark bits that sort of look like tree doodahs, branches, twiglets, whatever. Well, that's my theory. It seems to be working over the years. I've gone backwards here. I was going to use that St. Petersburg's palette, and now I'm using my flesh tint one. Talk about, yeah, turn it up the right way. It should get there somehow. If I get my rigger or a thin brush, have I used all that paint up? Flipping out. I did. Bit of the blue. That's the same blue that I used in the sky, which was cerulean, and some burnt sienna. Gives me that sort of, just looking for a bluey grey colour that matches the sky. And I'm going to use my rigger and just, it's really damp, the paper, so I can just on its edge, I might even want to hold the brush sort of that way. Should be able to damp something. This is coming along all right. This is going too well. They're actually, even by where I'm stood at, they're actually looking like little doodles, tree thingies in the background. I'm just sort of dabbing it up and down and lifting it off, and I think it's a nice colour. That's what I said just now. If you get a nice colour, just blow the picture, just have fun with the colour. There's no white in here today. I've not prepared the paper with white or anything. I think the fan brush does a really good job as well. Just teasing. If you sort of push it, so Terry used to do it, Terry Harrison, sort of gently pushes it up, and it sort of gives that effect. Not pushing it hard, just push it gently. You can always go back in later and add some more detailed ones. That went a bit too dark over there, I think. Mind you, that's where the sun is, isn't it? We have forgotten all about the sun. I'm going side to side, trying to make the bottoms a little bit darker. So, I'm enjoying this. Worth persevering. And for just a few strokes, really, it's more of a have fun with the fan brush here. Go up a bit. Almost. I feel like I can almost sense I'm there. I noticed my one thing I've looking at this version of it, I think I can go even stronger with the sky if I want to. When we dry it, so there's no reason why I couldn't dry it off. But looking at this one, I've gone, it's much brighter. So throw it away and just do what you want to do. Yeah, I might do that later. You can see I'm almost thinking about things I'm going to be doing after it's all dried later. That's really nice, this bit. It's got a funny feeling. Wow, in my hang on, trying to get my head around what my funny feeling was that this is one of those that this area might have to, when it's dry, just lift some of that colour off. Maybe a little bit more of that rose. Dab it on, see if that'll aid. Just a few light streaks of it. Windows, don't forget the windows, Dave, right? I've got that sort of bluey tint on my, so I can utilise that in my windows. If you want to add a bit more of the blue, feel free. But it does work well, just to doing that way. It identifies them as serious window candidates. But even then, you can drop in a little bit of orange into those as well. And around the edges, it's just dark, isn't it? Burnt, got some dark here. Burnt umber, bit of blue, usual thing. If you want it to go redder, add a little bit of burnt sienna. This is a personal preference, how you feel really. Well, everyone sees it different. But if I drop it in, a bit too dry. Need some more water. It is watercolours, so try and drop them in. At the moment, we're just blocking in anyway. So, does it go darker all the way along? Sort of. But we can always add to it later. Really wanted that to blend in a bit, so just clean water on the brush. I'm just going to squish a little bit on, let it drizzle in. Is that the dinner bell? While it's still really damp, I can add a little bit of blue into it. It's a bit like we do with trees, this, isn't it? Just drop in some extra colour. Making it up now, but I'm actually drawing with the brush. Wiggle. I wiggled. Notice the picture. It's got the front of the boat is that sort of rose madder type colour as well. Seem I'm attracted to that colour. What I'm going to do is find some sap green. Good old sap green. Ooh, that was bright. And I'll make clean this bit of my palette out. It's Clint's forehead colour. I tried to clean this out the other day, this palette, as it had a squirt tubed paint in there. Cool, blimey. Took me ages. Certainly.
I'm going to make a move now, guys.
Yeah. Is that the time?
I'll watch the video.
You'll have a laugh.
In a minute. Yeah.
Take
okay.
care.
Yeah.
All the
Thank
best
you
then,
very
Chris.
much.
Hope it goes well.
Bye.
Bye.
Yeah. Thank
Bye.
you.
Take care.
Bye.
Yeah. Love to
Bye.
everybody.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Cheers, Chris.
Bye bye.
Bless you.
Thank you.
Right, let's have a little think here. Want some raw sienna, don't we? I haven't got any. Yeah, I have. There is. There's a bit of raw sienna. What do I want that for? Well, I'm going to make these sort of areas. It's not as clean as I thought it would be. Wanted nice, clean raw sienna. Just add it into this area. I'm going from memory here, but I just want to block it in really. Just add a little bit of, nearly said the yellow brick road, but it's sort of a path, isn't it? See that yellow? That raw sienna, it's gone a bit, not the colour I want. It's gone a bit yucky. So I'm dropping a bit of lemon yellow in it. Just there. And now we want a bit of that dark stuff, which was burnt sienna and a bit of blue. Drop a bit of that in. See what happens. My blue's gone a bit stiff at the moment. What you could what I will try, I don't think it'll work that well, is use some of the cerulean blue in amongst now. See, it doesn't work. You need, maybe, if it very sparing, it doesn't give you, because cerulean blue and yellow, if it's good quality, don't make green. I know. You spend all the time trying to avoid it, and then when you want it, it doesn't work. Well, it's proof that you're using good quality paint. I'll just drop in some cobalt blue into there for a minute. Let the paint do its bit. I'm still using the side of my board to drop as a mixing doodah. It's coming along. Maybe what I did yesterday, sitting in front of the computer looking at the pictures, has put more, just dab that off a bit, more information in my brain when I come to paint it. Goodness knows. But I'm not, what's the word? I'm not getting bogged down with the picture in itself. I'm painting the picture that I want to paint, which is always good fun, isn't it? Over this side, the other side of this fence is the River Parrot, or it is a river, so you can get away with adding some bluey bits there. I think if you look on the Google map, Bridgwater and Taunton Canal, parts of it run parallel to the river.
It's a river, not here.
I thought it was.
Add a bit of, oops, not too much.
Parrot.
I'm gonna, well, lovely and wet, this picture. Well, this, I don't know, say it. Well, it's watercolour, mate. I think that it's quite a nice colour I made here. So I'm going to carry on with a little bit. It's a bit annoying, really, because it's not so prevalent. The balance is slightly left-handed, left-sided, which is not what I wanted.
Oh, for goodness sake, forget that.
That's that bit. Now I'm going to go. I haven't done any masking fluid or anything, Carol, so
That's good. Well, I did master it last time.
every time I use masking fluid now, I think, hang on, is Carol looking? Shh. It's in my back of my mind. So what we're going to do here is I'm going to underpaint my hands. Gosh, some days your hand's better than others. I'm just going to block in the doors. I've already put yellow on there anyway, so I'm not fussed about that. And the door frame thingies, I think I'm just going to not bother about them. Put some white on at the end. I'll leave a bit of a gap. I think it's my pencil lines that I need to worry about. If I don't paint over them, I'll be all right. I think I'll just highlight it later with some white. But don't use oil white. Oh dear. I've got a piece of, I did a test piece on a piece of paper. When was that, last week or the week before? No, it was last week, wasn't it? Sometime. It's still wet. If you touch it, you get wet all over you. Nightmare. I'm going to drop some of this rose inside. Don't want to worry about that. Yeah. Can't believe I'm stood up doing this. Just drop it on. But I think putting an undercolour of red on, yellow on, gives it a sort of a nice warm. Don't know why I'm holding back on that bit. Maybe I should have masked out the white, Carol.
Right.
No, I'll know where it is. I'm sort of conscious, and I think later I'll just go over it with some opaque white because it needs to stand out quite well. I don't think I'll be able to, because the one thing about this paint, which is or this colour, rose madder or rose, or Algerian crimson for that matter, it's very high staining paint. So the chances are once it's on there, it's really difficult to lift off. It doesn't, like normal paint lifts off, doesn't it? But I'm going to use some of that background grey colour on there. Let it blend in. It's coming on. And we've still got some yellow that I can drop in. Just float a bit on there. It's a bit more burnt sienna. Yeah, a bit more burnt sienna-y colour, which is red. Bit of a reddy brown there. The base of the boat is interesting. What I think I'll do is I'll put some burnt sienna and dab it out. Probably use the stipple brush. Call it a stipple brush, but it's just a fan brush, and dab in, because it's sort of one of those bungee things to stop it bumping the water, the end of the narrow, what do they call them? When you're in the lock, you have those spongy things on the front, stop it from banging into and damaging the front of the boat. Oh yeah, that's a good lesson. Right, let me think. I was going to do this pathway. Ooh, too much brown. My water's dirty. You dirty water. Right, I'll just go clean water. That's what I was going to do. Clean water along there. And again, using the cerulean blue, I can go down. It's a bit strong, mine. Add a little bit of burnt sienna onto it. It'll give a gooey grey, bluey colour. If I can clean my brush out and get rid of the fluff and just mix it in. Try and look for a shadow area. If you've got too much on, a bit red, just lift it off. Tissue in your hand. It's quite nice because I can add some, look for a bit of dark in my palette, look for the darks that are in the picture and build them up. Just add a few of them in. This is more of a rigor. I'm just making a statement, just saying, warning to myself later that there's some darky bits there. That colour that I've used on the background, which is that sort of light blue, cerulean blue and burnt sienna. I'll block in the fence as well, I think. And it has a, for the minute, and then later on we'll add some real dark to it. What you can do is, if it'll work, it should work, maybe a bit more blue, is use your, do what I was doing in the sky the other day, and just roll your brush, add it onto the path, and it will give you a sort of a textured feel. Worth experimenting with that. It's a matter of getting the right amount of dry and not dry on the brush, the right moisture content. It's a bit high tech, Dave. See if I can get some bit of raw sienna down here, because this is the toe path. It's more of a, had a bit of, oops. That was scary. Well, it is sunny. There is sun up there. I've got a pencil mark down there, which is a couple of them that are really, really fresh. Ah, there you are. Ta-da! Found it. It's a palette of paint, a thing of paint that's come out of the my palette over here, and I wondered where it was, and I've just discovered why my hand was going orange. It's hooked itself out and plopped itself over there. Still got a bit of that sap green left, so I can drop that in here. The pencil line is really frustrating because you might not be able to see it so well there, but to me it's like there's a piece of wood or something. It's making the path look strange, like it's not making it sit like it should. So you have to forgive me on that. Bit of blue, dab in some blue, hold your brush at different angles, a bit dark, just block it in. It's a watercolour at the end of the day. I don't know about, it'd be interesting to see how you feel doing a landscape after doing the portraits as well. I'm adding some blue to this steer to make it, I want a bit of dark, a bit of shadow. Dear oh dear, Dave. I know I wanted a bit. Looks like I've ended up with a whole palette full of, what I wanted was just a little bit of dark. And now we've ended up with quite a lot. See if I can knock it off. Probably easier to use my other brush. All I wanted to do was put some shadows on there. Nearly. A bit of that blue that's on the side. And the other one, this is a toe path, isn't it? I knew that was going to happen. Why did I do it then? Well, I sort of knew. You need to clean your brushes out more. Well, I'll go with that. I'll go with it. And add a bit of the blue. And a bit of the raw sienna. burnt sienna, sorry,
That's what you want to paint.
Probably.
and go across. See if I can get some. Oh, love it when things don't work. Beauty of watercolour, just wash it off. It's not as grey as I wanted it to be. I think we'll just damp it off. Move along. Water. What colour's water? I don't know. I'm stuck now with this sort of off blue grey colour. So I'm sticking with it. But first off, I'm going to put a dollop of orange on it.
No, don't worry.
And then put the colour over the top.
Just realised he was missing.
Hairdrop had been out last night.
All right.
No, it's not quite what I had in mind. Sometimes when you lift it off, it gives you what you're actually looking for in the first place. Just let me. That's too blue. The blue I'm using, it's the St. Petersburg one. It's an acquired taste, and it's very opaque. I'm trying to give it a sort of a watery feel with just a hint of orange in it. It's sort of reflective. What's going on? It's a bit better. Bit better. A vast improvement.
You came running from in the house somewhere. It was in the bedroom. It was in the kitchen.
What we need is a few slugs in here. No. I can't get them out of my head, the flipping things. Try and mix up a nice bit of grey if I can. Let's see. Burnt sienna. I'm looking at the bit of cobalt blue. There you go. Maybe. A bit more. There you go. Almost there. I think I'm getting bogged down with dirty water. Never mind. So what I'm going to do is wipe it off. And actually just for now, this is just cobalt blue. Water it down. Just block it in with cobalt blue for a minute. Go on, off you go. Yeah, very good. Sorted. Because that's going to be really dark in there in a minute. Okay. Tissue a few bits off. Just so I've got a nice cobalty blue background. And then when that's dry, then we can put some dark lines down through, and that'll be nice. And if you get your rigger, a bit like this, find a rigger, you can do it. There he is. Grab some of these dark, massive area of dark I've got here, and we can simply, I can almost sense some of those some of those lines. We'll just add them in. It's a bit damp at the moment. Just have to walk away and come back. Just make sure they get really thin at the top. Well, so damp. Didn't mean to do that one. And then put some cross lines on. Join them up. And we'll get the... Maybe if I start... Just drop a few in. Need to sit down and do this gently, really. Build them up. Happy with that. Yep. Add a little bit more tony blue colour to this. Parts of the picture are drying, parts aren't, which is fine. Oh. Very clever. Now then, bottom of the boat, what we're going to do with that? Make it damp for a start. Try to avoid the doodah. I thought I could do this painting quite quickly, but it's more intense than it looks. What I'm going to do is, grab the, I'm going to put some orange or a light colour as an underpaint. And then drop. What I was saying earlier and went off at a tangent was it'd be interesting to see how you, after doing portraits, how you feel, how you cope and approach, which is what I'm doing now, painting a non-portrait picture like this. I'm, without sounding, it's all about feeling, isn't it, this painting malarkey? How you feel, how when you're sort of adding colour to the, how you feel, it's how you approach it and all this sort of thing affects how you proceed. Sounds blasé and bland, but at the moment I'm thinking, well, I think my brush strokes are changing. I noticed that because I'm sort of, I definitely, I don't know if it's not a confidence thing, it's a more of a, I'm not looking for, I'm looking for shapes and rather than specific definition, if that makes any sense at all. I'm looking, and I think using the white is added a total almost disrespect for what I'm actually trying to do, because I'm thinking, well, it doesn't matter anyway, I can fix it. If I'm not happy with it, I can add the white to it, and just, I'm almost feeling contemptuous, for want of a better word. So what? Yeah, this is easy. compared to them portraits. But obviously it isn't. But at the moment, it's such a busy picture that it's taken such a long time to block it all in. And it's not even got there yet. Could be a longer. See, that's not the colour that I wanted. They do want to seem to be getting, because there's certain elements of the picture that I'm thinking, well, you've got to make it look like what it is. If you don't tell the story that's water, then the chances are someone looking at it will be thinking, well, is that water then? What is that water there, or isn't it? So there's, that sort of feeling in me that's thinking, you need to make it water. You need to paint it blue to make it look like water. Well done. I'll go away from that because I think this could be a two-parter, this. What am I looking at? The background trees again. I think I want to put more in. I'm drawn to adding more of a shadowy colour in there. Needs rigorising, this picture. Not worried about that bit down there because that's going to be green in a minute, or foliage in there, sort of river bank. Yep. I could do with more. Just going to sit down a minute. See if I can add a little bit more. Tighten it up here.
Right.
Chrissy's gone to a funeral. It's terrible, isn't it? She don't know if get some bad luck.
I hope she gets there in time. My carers just come. It's took her 50 minutes to get just a little way up the Blandford Road this morning.
Chris said that, didn't she?
Yes, I hope she's left plenty of time.
Yeah, she gets a lot of tragedy in her family, Chris.
Was it a family member, was it?
It was her sister's husband, brother-in-law.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah, I know. It's such a shock.
Was it expected or not?
He was poorly, but it wasn't.
Not that poorly. Oh, dear.
It's always she'll tell you the story one day later. It's not very nice. I think I got Sainsbury's coming today.
Oh, that's good.
I've got this.
I'll just have to rush off again in a minute.
Yeah, well, I'll finish on the video anyway.
Yeah,
I'll tighten it up a bit, but as long as you get
the idea. I've been rushing in and out. I expect you've heard me.
Well,
Right, Peter's a bit giddy this morning. He's not very well this morning. So he's going to have his quick wash and back to bed.
Listen.
Oh.
Just going to put some lines on there. Yeah. Well, considering I've never painted this before, I'm not too despondent, because I've got all the elements there, and I'm gradually teasing them out. And as it dries out, I'll start putting in some detail.
Yeah, it looks nice.
Well, trouble is, like I've been sort of musing on doing those portraits has definitely changed my thoughts about, I don't know. Don't forget, we've got all these background trees, which I'm going to utilise that predominant colour, which was the burnt sienna, burnt sienna and cerulean blue colour. So once we start adding these little rascals in, the whole picture will start changing.
Oh, okay.
Once you start get your rigger involved on these little rascals. I mean, I'll rush in them now, but if you take your time and do them fairly. I'm left-handed, so what do? Paint the left-hand tree first. The worst thing you should never. I do it all the time.
Oh dear.
If I'd have painted the right hand, now I'm going to go over
that.
Yeah. But I'll try and do it by lifting my brush away. But using the rigger, just gently try and find some fingers on each one. Joyce loves doing trees.
Joyce does not love doing trees.
But if you do a long stick going up, oh, that was a bit too much, but there you go. I have to wipe that one off. And then
It's fine. Yeah, it's fine. I get a thick blob or something. I have too much paint on the brush.
it's such a
just got to get the right bit, haven't you? Delicate.
Yeah, you've got to be so light.
Well, you could draw those in, Joyce, with a pencil. Might be easier.
Do sometimes, or a watercolor pencil.
Yeah,
probably.
Yeah.
There are two things that I don't get on with, and one obviously trees, and the other is pencil. I absolutely hate it.
All right.
But as you see, as soon as you do that, it'll bring the picture back to life. And the other one is, of course, if I got the really dark color. Well, actually, the whole thing, if you like, it's a constant theme, isn't it, with these watercolor paintings, is to paint. I think my chimney's a bit wonky. Well, that's the charm. If you put a background colour in first, so underpaint it. I've just used yellow there for now, but then while it's damp, same with the trees that we do with the barks, and then drop some burnt umber in it. Hang on, burnt umber and blue. I have to squish a bit of blue in there. Oh, that did the job. Flipping it. Don't know what blue that was. You don't want to mess with it. But anyway, for now, and then drop in the blue on top, or the dark on top. You'll get that little edge that you can utilize. This isn't dry enough yet to put some, but at some point, I'm not going to spend the next 3 hours putting bits of path in here, but it's easy enough to suss out that you just need to put a few lines up through with dark, and just put some. Probably easier to do the cross bits first and then join them up. Just add a few in. Try and get the tram lines coming towards you. I haven't looked at the picture, but I get the impression that where the paint's dried, there's some little lines going across. I'm just going to utilise those for now. I'm quite pleased that I eventually got the sort of grey colour that I was looking for anyway. I've got it there as well. And just put a few of them in, and you'll gradually build it up and try and make one side. Yeah. Believe it or not, I'm not looking for this. It's really weird, but the paint has dried and there's like little lines going across, so I'm just adding them. I'm just highlighting where those little, where it's dried. I'm just saying, okay, and just pop a few in without looking at the picture. The gate, we've got an issue with that, haven't we? But I think I need some clean water. But I'm going to do the same. Oops, squishy boy, don't you? I'm going to do the same with the gate. This isn't an hour-long picture, is it? This is a do a bit, come back, gradually build it up. But all I can say is, I think it's got potential. Add some dark bits to the underside of the gate posts. I think on the picture, if I look, these slats actually are stuck onto the side of the. They're at the front, not. But I don't think it matters a great deal. Once you do that, though, you can suddenly build it up, and then you're off. You're on the races. Now you've got the dark bit attached to you on the brush. A bit too much, but we can start adding some information just by gently teasing them off. Add some more of the darks. It's gone a bit too dry now. Just wiggle the brush around. We'll get some bit damp. And start looking for, tease out some shadowy areas, gradually build it up. Yeah, to see what I mean? Ooh, it's a lively one. Bit of clean water on the brush that I haven't got any, and just dab it. You can sort of tease out a bit of information. Needs a bit more burnt. Once you start doing that, then you'll start making it look like, bring it back to life.
Yeah.
Teasing it in, and the same with the trees. Now, once you get that dark bit on your rigger, you can start adding some darks to the side of the tree. Don't want too dark back here because it's in sort of a shadow area. Once you get the rigger going, we're off to the races now. The other thing, one thing I was going to do earlier, this is a sort of riverbank here, so I'm going to add more raw sienna in there, and a little bit of this green, sap green, or whatever green it is. I don't know. Oh my god, I don't think it's sap green. It's pretty bright, and can just add a bit of that on. And if I remember, it's a bit dark actually, so dab a little tad of that off. There was a reason that there was some twiggly, like an overgrown bush type thing up there that we can put in. Add a bit there. I think the raw sienna would be nice there, actually. A bit more. Add a little bit of raw sienna. There's no right and wrong. It's more just going with a feel, really. Look for a bit of balance.
I'm just going to have to go now. Okay, then I'll look at this later. Right. Thanks,
Yeah.
Dave.
Bye, Carol.
All right, then. Thanks a lot. Bye.
Bye.
Don't
See
be
you
a-
next week. Yeah, bye.
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 Pauline's back's flared up again as well. I forgot to say earlier.
Oh, no.
Yeah. You can see where I'm at now, though. I've blocked it all in. All the, most of the information's there now. So it's the usual thing with watercolours. Once you block it in, it's a question of adding. The last colour we tend to play with are the darks. So now it's just a matter of looking at your picture, or looking at your reference, or the one that you've done. Actually, I'm looking more at mine than that, and start adding some little highlights. Not well, the low lights, aren't they? They're the darks. Add them in with the rigger. You just dab it up and down. Once you've got that colour in your palette, which is burnt umber, blue, yuck, really. You can just slowly build them up, and the picture will appear. Have faith. Oops, that was going to be a bit grayer than that, but even my little windows, they're dark. One's darker than the other. It's all right. We'll leave a little bit of white on that. And as I said, my plan is to
Sorry, there's somebody at the door.
add a bit of get some permanent white and just go around the highlights on the cabin with that, which will make it really, really pop out a bit. Then I think this could be a little bit straighter. Just tease it out a bit. Yeah, that colour that I used for the background, though, it's quite an important colour, which was the raw sienna and burnt sienna. Burnt sienna and cerulean blue to make that sort of grey colour. It's a fundamental colour for the rest of the picture, because I'm using it all over the place. Up on the roof, almost like a little shadowy colour. Doesn't, and being a neutral sort of colour doesn't mean that you can't add more onto it to make it look more interesting. Bigger brush, yeah, when in doubt, get a bigger brush. This is drying back now, where I've used that there, but it can still, as it's dried, add a bit of burnt umber. It will still take more paint. Just one sweep, but where it's dried, it's sort of indicated where the rhythm, the way the boat's made. They have the sort of panels in it, sort of undulations. So I can add that, add a bit of a shadow under this thing. Try and make it stand out anyway. Might have to lighten it up all dark. Well, depends which reference picture I look at. On one picture I can't, there's nothing there, I can't see it at all. And what I'm looking for now is to put some furniture on the boat. at the front. It has a key line going around. Wow, that makes it pop out a bit. And there's a bit here. This bit here, I think, could be a little bit lighter. So I'll just lighten it off with clean. I haven't got clean water, but I've got water. Just clean it off. Makes it look like there's a bit of a shadow, bit of light. Same there. So you can tease those out, and no point mucking about. We'll put a bit of a shadow on there and down here. It's just that grey that I started off with. So that's the theme colour today, really. Cerulean blue and burnt sienna. Or it's, in my case, light blue. Whatever blue that is. It's called bright blue in St. Petersburg paints, and just add raw sienna to it. Burnt sienna. I keep saying raw sienna. I've got a lisp. Oh, like Del Boy, wasn't it? The bloke doing Elvis impersonations. Whack hell.
Yeah,
That was funny.
that was.
But that's the colour that I've used a lot of. So, and even like I've been putting the water with that colour, sort of cerulean blue, and dropping the dirty grey colour into it. It seems to be working quite nicely.
Mm.
He says, yeah, it adds sort of a shadow. That far bank, I could use the rigger on that. Now I've discovered where the raw sienna is in this palette, in this set of paints. I can add a bit over the background here, try and pick out, and then drop in some darks on top of that. Watch it, Dave. That was a serious bit of colour going on there. But where it meets the river, it's going to be dark, isn't it? You're going to get that sort of shadowy effect there. Just wiggle your brush left to right, up and down, round and round, and you'll find some information.
Very ironic. I said it was very ironic.
You can't get any more ironic than that.
No.
Now it's dried off a bit, I'll use a bit more of this lovely colour. It's fuchsia, isn't it? One colour I bought some paints the other day. I decided that for the portraits I'd get a few tubes of the colours that I'd enjoyed using. One of the colours was maroon. Now I don't know why, but in my funny little head, I have maroon down as a sort of, I don't know, a really deep burgundy sort of colour.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Not burnt sienna, but sort of a deep burgundy. But turns out it's more of a brown. It looks really brown.
It's quite browny.
Yeah, tell me. So I'm not disappointed. I was just surprised.
Yeah.
Put a bit more. This is down to. There's no hard and fast rules with this stuff, apart from mixing up the colour, which is a blue and burnt umber, to give you that lovely darks feel. Okay, I appreciate I'm going to have to pay a bit of attention to me windows. In part 4 of this attempt at doing some little narrowboat, and once I put the opaque white on on these door frames, these window frames, that they'll pop out really nicely. I think I'll be on a roll of them, and maybe this has got to get out of the flipping thing somehow. So you better put a door hatch thing in there. Help! Get me out! Makes me feel sort of old, really, because I used to do all this narrowboat like. Oh, that's right. I told you about the coal scuttle. Melanie and the coal scuttle. The plastic coal scuttle. I mean, come on. Who in their right mind would make a plastic coal scuttle? So as soon as you do that, can you see that those windows are now open? They suddenly, they just pop out.
Yeah.
So once you get that colour involved, and just sit there and look for brushes that fly over the table. Till I'm sat down now, so I stretched, but it went a bit too dry. Burnt umber and blue. You can suddenly fill out some character in the boat.
Mm.
What I've been doing lately, and what I've been doing, well, especially today, I've noticed, as the paint's drying, I'm starting to see lines that I'm utilising. I've done it on the path. It's not perfect by any stretch of the imagination, and I will sit down and quietly and go beaver away at it. But where the paint's dry, I'm seeing sort of drying lines and utilising them as it just dries with different shadows and that. Well, I've just been adding colour to it, which is quite good fun actually. And I know down here, there are sort of, I don't think they're trees, they're overhanging bushes that are on the riverbank along here. So I can tease some of those in. Add a little bit of blue to I've got the rose and some blue on the side of the paper, the thing here. So if I go like that, mix it, it'll give me a shadow colour I can utilise in the. I need a bigger brush. Hang on. Oh, I don't know how I do this because just thought I wanted to add a little bit there, and it'll give it more depth, more dimension. So I want the water to go around the corner a bit, don't we? Yep. Nice colour, that shadow. Important, isn't it? And because now I'll use the bigger brush, because these panels equally, and this area here, oops, wrong side, can utilise it on the front of the boat. Just a shadow colour. All that is cobalt blue that was on the paper on the edge of the thing there, and a bit of that rose. But if you haven't got rose, a lighter wash of Alzerian crimson would do the same thing. And once you've got that shadow colour, now you're in what's the word? In business, because you can utilise it anywhere, especially along the paths. Yeah, it's starting to look all right. Not my finest painting hour, but I will work on it.
It's going to be good.
You can add some shadow onto this furniture stuff. Of course, the big there's some more furniture up here on the top, isn't there? Now think about it. That's really dark there. Just add a little bit. It's the bit you walk on when you walk over the roof. A bit more there. Just add a little bit more. Try and tidy that window area up. That's what you have to do when it dries. You can attack them or move them around a bit. Get rid of any drying lines. Where else am I going? For some odd reason, and I don't know what it is, but I thought it was a mistake on the picture, but all the pictures have got that yellow dot,
Yeah.
and I don't know what it is.
No.
I'm not going to investigate because I'm not that fussed, but
Yeah.
it's quite amusing.
It's quite odd.
Yeah. But just out of interest, I've got yellow on the thing. I'll just put a little blob of yellow on the
Tennis ball.
front of the boat.
Dog's tennis ball.
Yeah, it does, doesn't it? It's really weird.
Could be.
I don't know what colour yellow I was using there.
Yeah, he's only seen one, but there's actually
I
3.
think it's that one, the cadmium yellow. But you can just tease a few bits here and there. Do you know what? I was losing this picture just now, and it seems to have come back quite well now.
Yeah, it's you're pulling it back together really nice.
Well, it's not. Tell you what, I'm gonna. But as it's drying back, see, and so I can start putting like gentle washes of colours in to bring it. Just by doing that, I can bring life back into it.
Yeah, the finishing touches, isn't it?
It's always the way, isn't it?
Yeah.
Well, they never stop, but once you, because it's watercolor, once you start teasing in the darks, then the whole shooting match, the whole thing starts to pull together, doesn't it? I mean, I'm
Yeah, he did. Yeah.
I just need to play with the trees. Once I bring those back to
It's from that sunbeam, I think.
Back to life. Bit of effort more onto the trees. Where am I going now? Well, from nothing, I've got something. I think the path, my top tip for the path has got to be to use the ruler and a watercolour pencil.
Oh, right.
Well, I'll do it. Hang on. There's some here. What are these? Yeah, that'll do. I think just for fun, I'll do it now.
So
just because I don't care, and just lightly do it really light as well. Probably best find the middle one. Just put them in very lightly. Just put a few lines down, maybe.
Yeah.
But you could miss one. So if you do it one, just do a hesitant line. Is that the word?
Yeah, you don't want it too solid, do you?
No. And you don't want all of it either.
No.
And gradually do it that way, so that there's an option there that's worth investigating. And what colour that is. I don't advocate using them that much these days. I know I've mentioned it in the past, but I think they leave that glaze on the picture that I don't. You can, if you look at it from an angle, they shine. You can see the shine. I don't like it.
Are you going to water it in, or are you just going to leave it?
Oh no, you can just dabble it in.
Yeah, that's what I thought you were going to do. soften it down.
Yeah, I've only done a couple really quick, but it needs more slow attention. A bit more sitting down and saying, oh, hang on. And as I say, since I've got loads of it, I mean, I've got tubes and tubes of white paint now. I've gone from having none to loads. I think at some point, I won't do it too much now, but I can bring these back with just a little bit of white, and the whole thing they'll start to pop back out then, and maybe tighten those up a little bit. So there's a few bits left to do, but I think just adding a little bit of white here and there will probably do it really good justice. Looking at it quickly, what would I like to put the lid on that?
Actually makes a nice picture, doesn't it?
Yeah, I think it's not too bad. I think it's always the trouble. It's more, I tend to rush too much doing it now, but the only thing I would say is I didn't like that bit there. Maybe it needs to be a bit darker.
Yeah,
who knows?
Darker underneath.
Just want to let it dry off really, and then have a look. But yeah, and the other party piece for this picture is, don't think I might even have to do that with a bit of white. It's really wet at the moment, but there's a line, isn't there? Goes from there to there.
Yeah.
What's that for?
Don't know what
it's a cable or some description.
Television area.
There's a line going down through there that's holding the whole boat together. Once that dries, I can put some white highlights on that. That was quite good actually.
Goes along the roof.
Just standing up, putting a dark line on my picture. And these have got clamps on, and equally there's there's some chains here
it goes across the roof.
that we can bring out with some white as well.
Whitey roof that goes that way.
I'll put them in. It's not looking too bad now. And you can just highlight
from this end,
highlight the chains.
If they're living in it, they would be going in the other door by the look of it.
With a bit of white as well.
That door sliding backwards and forwards, probably.
And you can't put all the detail in, but just a bit. Ta-da! Yeah, that's fine.
Magic.
Well, I don't use a lot of it. I did buy some the other day, which was 60mm. There's a big gouache, extra fine.
Oh, right.
But there's gouache and gouache. I've been discovering that the one I've just used there is a zinc gouache, which doesn't have the same intensity as that one, which is opaque.
Oh.
Sounds like I'm using it all the time, but it's really for the portraits that we've been doing that it works really well on. I'm just stuck with portraits at the moment. I was thinking this morning, I've got this exhibition at the end of the month over at Mudderford Quay, isn't it? I've allocated some space to put some pictures there, and I was thinking, oh, there is one bit I forgot. I was thinking, well, what shall I hand in? And I decided that I was going to frame up George and hand him up, and so the subject of the painting will be George Naden.
Yeah, that would be
George Benderman Naden, artist.
Yeah.
So I'm going to put that one in the exhibition. the exhibition. I don't want to. I booked. They asked you what pictures you're going to put in, and I put I think it was the needles, wasn't it? We did that one, and I thought, nah, everyone's going to be doing that sort of garbage. Let's do something different. One thing I was experimenting with earlier, before we was to use I got a pencil, and what I was going to do is almost the reverse of this. I was going to put tissue over it, which I've done there, a little bit of tissue, dip it in the, I don't know what colour, bit of orange. Ooh, some of this paint's really squishy, and just sort of dab it where I wanted the sun to go, a bit like that. Now, how about that?
Yeah, very clever.
And I can let that. I did it. It was a bit wetter, bit wetter than I thought, the paint, but that's one of those watercolor pencil intense brushes, paints. George got me to get those, as it happens.
Yeah.
He used to use those a lot. And as that dries off, I think once it's dry, one of the things that will make this painting more interesting will be, just do it quickly, will be to put some of that orange in the sky.
Enhance the sky a little bit more.
Something like that, yeah?
Yeah, yeah.
Just to show that I have no fear.
Mind your son.
There you go. And I'll call that a... I'll let that do its bit. That's not too bad, that.
That's very good.
Well,
it's a start.
Once you start with that orangey theme, you can increase it, decrease it, add it here and there. Just drop it in. Whoa, it's very strong colour. Orange. You've got to watch it.
Yeah.
Get the balance of water and colour. Always good, handy to have a bit of tissue in your hand at the same time, because it's definitely going to do the rose. Bit on the gate, bit up there.
Yeah.
Dab it in.
Put it back to a sunset.
Well, I saw something like
or
that.
sunrise.
I think it would be a sunset at Bridgwater.
Yeah.
Taunton is north of Bridgwater, isn't it? So if they're looking there, yeah, I'm happy with that.
Oh, right.
There's a few more bits we can do, but the components are there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think I'll be throwing that in the bath too clean. Sometimes it's worth putting a little mount around it, isn't it, to give you a
difference.
Yeah, got quite a few floating around. Need to cut some more that are a bit smaller. These are all too wide borders. Yeah, that'll do.
Yeah.
It's a painting, not a photograph.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Happy, Basil? Yeah, 12:26. I'm sort of happy.
Yeah.
Ooh, it looks better on screen than it does. Well, no, it looks different.
Yeah, it does make an awful difference. Yeah.
Well, that's your homework if you get time, but there's no pressure.
See if we've got time. Yeah, look forward to that. Thank you, Dave.
Oh, Gordon, you're still here.
Yeah. He wasn't going to be.
Hey, you can't wait to get on. Can't wait to get stuck in on that picture now, can you?
Started, look.
Wow.
Yeah.
I think just change the doodah. Got so many. It's trouble when you've got cameras all over the place. Put it on gallery view. Joyce is gone.
Oh, right. Bye, Joyce.
Sainsbury's haven't come, I expect.
I
think they're due here in a minute.
Right, well, we've got to get the meat pies in the oven.
I got to tell you a joke, Dave, just before you go. We've been arguing for the last week with SSE Electrics. They reckon we've underpaid by £1,500, right, over the last 2 years because they can't be asked to come and read the meter.
Oh, that one, yeah.
And I phoned them up every time they sent me a bill and given them a reading, and they've ignored it. So,
Well, that's a bit weird.
yeah, but the joke is, while you were on doing your painting, I decided, oh, bugger it, I'll just have to pay it, right? So I got my credit card, I just paid it off, and 10 minutes later, there's a knock on the door and somebody's come to read the meter. And they haven't been for 2 years, and they must have phoned him up at home and said, hey, run round this one quick. That's the honest, Anne will be my witness, you wouldn't believe it. About a quarter of an hour after I paid it, they come knocking on the door, can we read your meter?
So what will happen now then? Will they give you a refund?
No, they've. I'm going to probably send it to the ombudsman. I'm going to see about it. The only thing is, I do owe them for that electric because I've used it over the last 2 years. And being as we were locked down, we didn't go camping a lot.
Yeah.
And I usually pay about £1,000 a year to sites for their electric, near enough.
So you haven't, it balances out then.
I haven't lost any money. I just haven't paid it to them over that period. But they're charging me at 18p, I think it is, a unit, as opposed to 16p a unit back in those days. So they've overcharged me on that bit.
Nightmare.
I might slam it to the ombudsman just for a laugh.
There's probably 2-year waiting list for that.
Right.
I've got a new recording machine now.
Oh no.
I've gone back to the Boss BR800.
Mm-hmm.
I sold the what was it? The Zoom R16 one, R24.
Yeah.
Well, it'd been sat there for 2 years, and I can't say I've recorded a proper song on it. It's just too complicated. I just couldn't get on with it.
Well, I've got my Walkman Professional tape machine, which Anne bought me way back about 20 years ago. That works still, and I've got loads of tapes for it.
Well,
the other one that we do recording on is the iPhone, and you'd be amazed how accurate live recordings are on the iPhone. Put them onto Audacity and put them out through the speaker system, and it's just as good as being there.
Well, this is really good. This one, I know it's so quick and easy.
Well, I'm going to leave you to it then if you're going to start talking music.
Oh, you're upset now.
I'll see you.
I thought you'd gone.
No,
you said you were gone to put the pies on.
Yeah, we need to, yeah.
We need to put the pies on, yeah.
I couldn't get a word in edgeways.
Anyway.
See you later, Dave.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for that. I'm logging off, Dave. All right.
Yeah, I'm going to put my pies on.
Okay.